Straight ahead on 12 News, something in Robbinsdale is sure to spark conversation. It's something the city has never tried before. Plus, the difficulty of tracking prescription drugs for elderly parents and a possible solution. But first, debate over a controversial billboard in Osseo. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. A small town, but a big billboard. Can the two coexist?
I talked to many residents who packed Osseo City Hall Monday night, and the answer is no. The City Council considered whether to approve a 50-foot tall billboard on the east side of the city next to a sound wall and Highway 169. It would be located on Osseo Public Works property, which the city would lease to a billboard company. However, concerns were raised about its proximity to residential homes, the closest being about 300 feet away. Neighbors even created a website to oppose it. Some residents felt it was piling an eyesore on top of an eyesore.
Please don't destroy this beautiful small town, one of the last few to be kept as a quaint and charming city. Please don't destroy it for a digital sign flashing all over the east side of town.
This whole anti-billboard campaign really comes down to a lot of people getting worked up by a small number of homeowners who would rather tax me and the other citizens of Osseo because they're afraid they might lose a couple of bucks in resale value.
By a 4-to-1 vote, the council did approve the billboard project. Most council members felt the billboard company addressed concerns by changing the location and reducing the number of billboards from 2 to 1. The city will receive more than $800,000 over a 15-year period in lease payments. Council member Ann Zelenak, who voted no, says it will save taxpayers about $5 a month. Robbinsdale officials are doing something they have never done before.
While it's common to set controlled burns on prairie fields, city crews are targeting another area. Reporter Sonia Goins has more.
The Triangle Rain Garden at 41st and Beard Avenue is getting some much-needed attention.
They're spraying that with water so that we don't melt the plastic. We're just interested, of course, in burning the vegetation.
Robbinsdale officials hired Prairie Restoration Company to do a controlled burn.
They told me it's a mix of gas and kerosene
At several rain gardens throughout the city. This is the first time they've used this process at a rain garden. Local residents stood by and watched as crews set fire to the garden.
I wish the kids would have been here for it. They would have liked to seen it.
And they play in there quite a bit, or what would
Every
you
day.
say?
Every day.
Forester Stephen Pappas came up with the idea to torch the rain gardens.
We have all these native plantings around, and they do require maintenance, and I felt that a fire would definitely help renew all that. This shouldn't kill anything here. If it does, it'd be weeds, and there would be species we don't want, that we want to control.
The control burn will not only get rid of invasive species, but it should bring back vegetation more abundantly.
The grasses will be much thicker and taller compared to what they were the last couple of years just because of the thatch being gone.
Experts say maintaining rain gardens is beneficial to everyone.
It slows down stormwater runoffs and also provides wildlife habitat for insects and other things such as birds.
In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The crews also conducted controlled burns at the Lakeview Terrace and the Public Works rain gardens. A Brooklyn Center lawmaker is speaking out against legislation that would expand the list of legal fireworks. A bill approved by the House would include aerial devices like bottle rockets and Roman candles, as well as firecrackers. Representative Deborah Hillstrom says it will lead to increased hospital visits and increased property damage. The so-called Fireworks Freedom Act now moves to the Senate. The governor has vetoed previous attempts to expand fireworks sales.
It was a rude awakening for many residents of Hennepin County Tuesday morning as outdoor warning sirens sounded just after 6 a.m. They normally go off when there's severe weather or in case of a civil defense emergency, but there were no weather issues and officials say it was just a false alarm. The sheriff's office says there was a computer hardware malfunction during a daily test that caused the sirens to go off. And you will hear them again this week. Sirens will sound twice on Thursday as part of a statewide drill for Severe Weather Awareness Week. Having the proper medications can save lives, but only if they're taken properly.
And for some senior citizens, that can be a challenge with serious consequences. That's one result of a survey done by Home Instead Senior Care Company with an office in Maple Grove. In today's Health Check, we look at the risk and ways adult children can help their older parents be safer with medications.
My mom is just almost 85. She does live independently near me.
When it comes to prescription medicine, Kathleen Stuck's mom, Mary, is like a lot of seniors who need a little help keeping track of what to take, when to take it, and when to get a refill.
She does her own pill fill, her weekly, but she allows me to manage all the refills for her. And so by me taking over that responsibility, instead of her trying to get to the drugstore, and she doesn't drive, as soon as she said I could manage that, well, I entered everything into my smartphone with the drugstore. I open up the app.
Kathleen uses a drugstore app that allows her to scan in the medication information.
I hold the bottle behind it.
And then the store will send an email when it's time for a refill.
And it's all done.
Many drugstores have done this for several years, and Kathleen recommends using the app as part of your effort to help keep elderly parents on track with medications.
That always gives me an ongoing conversation with my mom about how's it going and, you know, are these all being taken at the right time? Because I can help follow that a little bit without it feeling like it's too burdensome for her.
A recent survey by Home Instead Senior Care finds seniors don't want to be a burden to their children. But 57% of those surveyed are taking 4 or more medications, and nearly 20% reported challenges in managing their medicine. 1 in 10 actually made a mistake with medications, which can put them at a higher health risk and lead to hospitalization.
The biggest ramification for the senior is they're not safe at home anymore, and they might lose their independence. So taking their medications as prescribed allows them to remain independent longer, and that's the goal for all the seniors.
Kathleen recommends preparing a simple cheat sheet as a medication reminder.
It's titled the Medication Tracker, and it allows us to write down what the medication is, the description of the medication, for example, what color it might be, the dosing, the instructions, and the very important who prescribed it.
But most importantly, she says, just start the conversation with your older parents.
Seniors are not afraid to have the conversation with family members about medication issues. They welcome it.
You can find that medication tracker form and other ideas for helping seniors keep track of their medications at this website, letstalkrx.com.
April is National School Library Month, and libraries have definitely changed over the years. In the Osseo School District, they are better known to the kids as media centers.
I think when we can kind of mix it up instead of it just always being about stories or reading or incorporate some of these other activities into it, then the kids get more excited about all aspects, the technology and the reading.
In addition to reading books, kids at Edenbrook Elementary can participate in a number of activities, such as building Legos based on a story they've read, using a green screen for video projects, or getting creative during Genius Hour, where kids are free to spend 60 minutes working on a project that interests them, such as these students creating a dance for 5th grade graduation.
I got the opportunity to be in the library more and got fun ideas out of it.
I've recently been to the library a lot, and I like the library, and it's cool to check out the books too.
The library recently added couches, which staff says has helped foster a love for reading with the kids. Coming up, a Brooklyn Park volunteer who lifts up people with pets.
And then later in sports, the Champlin Park girls lacrosse team shoots for a return trip to the state tournament. We catch up with the Rebels.
But first, it is heating up. It will actually feel like spring on Wednesday. We'll be right back. It is National Volunteer Week, and here at Channel 12, we are profiling a volunteer every day.
They are special people, and today we hear the story of a Brooklyn Park woman who does great work foster caring for service dogs at Kendu Canines. Here's Eric Nelson.
Maggie Darsow and this black lab Uno have a special bond.
It is pretty much the most amazing experience I've had.
Darsow provides a foster home for Uno, caring and training the energetic dog for a future helping people who are sick or have disabilities.
It combines the best of both worlds for me. I love working with dogs and I love helping people, and to make such a huge impact on someone else's life is phenomenal.
Darsow is a bridge, a vital volunteer link for Can-Do Canines as they get dogs ready for service.
In Maggie's case, she's taking the dog to work with her every day, taking her to Target, to a baseball game, riding the car.
In this demonstration, Darsow is teaching Uno some basics.
Good boy. He's a keeper. Whoever gets him, he's a gem.
Such as turning on light switches,
Good boy.
opening drawers, or even picking up a cell phone.
It's absolutely irreplaceable what the volunteers do. They bring their heart and their soul into this, raising a dog, making it a perfect companion for somebody with a disability later on.
Darsow devotes a huge chunk of her time volunteering for Can-Do Canines.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
And enjoys every second she spends with Uno.
Even if he's not with me, I'm thinking about him, and we have to get home, and we have to be cognizant of him and his actions at all times.
When it comes to volunteering here at Can-Do Canines, Maggie has plenty of company. This organization has roughly 600 volunteers in a given year. In New Hope, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Maggie Darsow has had Uno for 9 months and will soon give him up for more training. Can-Do Canines provides the service dogs at no charge to future owners. Good work.
Yeah,
huh?
looks like Uno's ready.
Just about, yeah. Coming up, students get an up-close look at government.
But first, the Brooklyn Center softball team keeps the scoreboard operator busy. John Jacobson has the details up next in sports.
From center.
You wouldn't exactly call it baseball weather yet, but they're playing baseball. Opening day for Hopkins. Armstrong already had one under their belts, but
There are a lot of teams that had games canceled at the end of last week because the weather was so cold, and Monday was no bargain either, but they did get this one in. Armstrong and Hopkins had some good baseball matchups in the old Classic Lake Conference. They met up on a chilly Monday afternoon game in a game where the runs were hard to come by. The Falcons visiting the Royals, bottom of the third inning. It's Aaron Jensen of Hopkins tagging it to deep right center field. Alex Bowers scores on this hit. Jensen is tagged out trying for a triple, but the Royals take a 1-0 lead. It's mostly pitching and defense after that. Josh Thorpe hot smash to third. Alex Schwartz with a nice pickup gets the out for the Royals. Derek Johnson of Hopkins with a sinking liner to left, but the Falcons' Al Proctor makes a nice diving grab to keep the game at 1-0. Armstrong is shut out as Chell Hokinson strikes out to end the game, and Hopkins secures a 1-0 win. In softball, Brooklyn Center opened the season with a win over Minneapolis Edison. They took on a Breck team, making a return to varsity softball after a few years of playing a JV schedule. Sierra Gabriel Talley grounds a hit up the middle for Brooklyn Center to score Felicia Yang, and it's 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Miranda Grangruth follows with a liner down the third baseline to score Deja Gibson, and the Centaurs go up 3-0. Still in the first, Sandy Thompson connects. Her drive gets up into the strong wind and carries over the fence and right for a grand slam. Brooklyn Center scores 10 runs in the first inning, and they keep slugging. Gibson smacks a drive to deep center field in the second inning to score Dorothy Lee and Thompson. It's 14-1 Centaurs on Gibson's double. An inning later, Gibson hits a rocket to left field. It scores 2 more runs. Desiree Swanson and Thompson both cross the plate. Brooklyn Center adds 6 more in the third inning. Gibson has 4 RBIs in the game. Breck does score a few. Militia Stevenson knocks in a run with a solid hit in the fourth inning, but it's mostly Centaurs, and they roll to a 20-4 5-inning win. High school lacrosse team started practice for the season last week. At Champlin Park High School, the Rebels girls team has high hopes again this spring. The weather was brutal for the first week of lacrosse practice here in Minnesota. The Rebels girls team hasn't let that slow them down.
I think it almost makes us better because then we're tougher and we get more practice, and this is what our season is like every year, and then we're prepared for our games that we do have bad weather.
It really takes a lot out of you, but it's what needs to be done. It's a spring sport. We need to get out here, and it's making us tougher mentally and physically as a team.
Though overall numbers in the program are down, the Champlin Park varsity returns virtually everyone from their 2015 state tournament team.
We have a lot of returners in our offense. We didn't graduate that many last year. Defensively, we have our full squad back -1. That was a key contributor last year, so that's good. We have our goaltender returning as well. So if the girls stick together as a team, we should come out flying.
Junior midfielder Sam Nolan is a returning All-State player, while senior attack Hannah Krimble and junior defender Morgan Sewell are among the all-conference players back. It's a seasoned group that will emphasize defense.
Defense is a big part of the game, but it's also teamwork, and our team really has to work together in order to be successful. And our defense has learned to work together with our attack and our middies, and we all work together, and that's how we become as successful as we are.
With so much returning talent, the Rebels should contend for conference and section titles again this spring.
Obviously, goals are to be a top contender in our conference and hopefully be playing in that final game to get to state again.
The Rebels host Coon Rapids in the team's season opener this Friday night. And it'll be warmer on Friday night than it was last Friday when we shot that.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, John.
But still ahead, what local youth learned about government.
And the answer may surprise you when we come back.
And finally, how much do you really know about the jobs and the people that help a city run smoothly?
And when we think of city government, it is easy to think of City Hall, but it's much more than that.
Government, sometimes when people think about government, it's just this empty, or it's just this blank building, right? But really that there's actually real people who serve the students, their families, and the public.
High school students from Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center got an up-close look at their city government with a behind-the-scenes tour of the water treatment plant, also one of the city's fire stations, and also the operations and maintenance department. It was all part of the 4th annual Youth in City Government Day, geared to give students a realistic view of municipal government and what it takes to keep a city operating and providing services to its residents. For the students, it's also a chance for them to consider a career in government.
There's no doubt about it. If you're into learning things and you want to learn more about the government and your community, there's no doubt you should take this.
It's really interesting to know how much we take for granted and how we actually need to preserve what we do, watch our actions.
And the students ended the day by attending a city council meeting. So they got a real wide range there.
I don't know if, hopefully they can sit through the council meeting.
Right, exactly.
But there was a pizza dinner. I think there was a pizza dinner involved too.
Right? Yeah. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again tomorrow beginning at 4.